Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to Science TV News. My name is Ruth Wairimu, and my sign language interpreter is Philip Omondi. Let's focus on news. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundary Commission is scheduled to dispatch all ballot papers and other essential election materials today to the respective electoral areas whereby elections will be conducted on November 27, 2025. IEBC Chairperson Erastus confirmed the dispatch after the Commission received a batch of 39 distinct types of ballot papers and statutory forms intended for the by-elections. This move finalizes the pre-election logistical preparations following the registration of 181 candidates who are set to contest in the 24 electoral areas where the polls will be held. To ensure timely and secure delivery, the IEBC will airlift ballot papers to far-flung and high-risk areas, specifically citing Banisa and Mandera due to inherent security and distance concerns. President William Ruto has publicly ranked his administration as the best performing compared to all the three preceding governments. Addressing a joint session of Parliament, the President asserted that even his fiercest critics can no longer deny the tangible reality of his key promises. He highlighted significant progress in core areas of his agenda, citing advancements in affordable housing, universal health coverage, and efforts to lower the cost of living as evidence of his administration's superior record. The declaration comes as the government faces mounting scrutiny, particularly over economic hardship and taxation. However, President William Ruto maintained that the progress achieved across his administration's mandate firmly establishes its place as the most successful in Kenya's history. Let's take a watch.
The cynics dismissed it. They said it was fantasy. When they realized we were serious, they called it impossible. And when we broke ground across the country, they suggested that these projects would stall. Those doubts have given way to a very different question from Kenyans everywhere. How do I own one of these units? Inflation, which stood at 9.6% in 2002, in 2022, has steadily declined to 4.6 as of last month. National maize harvests have risen from 44 million bags in 2022 to 67 million bags in 2024. Million Kenyans are now registered in SHA, more than triple the number ever reached by the former NHIF. We tackled the teacher crisis head on. We have hired, as you all know, 76,000 teachers with 24,000 more to be brought in by January next year.
Now, Chief Justice Martha Koome has urged advocates to refrain from engaging in actions that could undermine or delay the course of justice. She made the plea while speaking at the Supreme Court during the official admission of 920 new advocates to the bar. CJ Koome also addressed and dismissed concerns raised regarding the high number of lawyers being admitted. She emphasized that the country's requirements a large pool of legal practitioners. Let's take a watch.
Against discrimination and exploitation. The legal profession was never meant to be purely transactional.
Have now the new coinage of the word juris pesa. Take your own personal oath that you will not go in that direction.
We do not see just wigs and robes. We see young Kenyans who refuse to be silent in the face of injustice.
Journalism, I've had the privilege of bearing the pen. And now, in the legal profession, it comes with both the shield and the spear. Things that I will use to push what I've been passionate about, which is justice and doing good for the public. Secondary school, I had a lot of admiration for law.
What I'll tell the girl child out there, just work hard.
To encourage all young people out there, I want to tell them that this profession is very good and nobody should scare them away.
Look at my engineering journey. There are instances I feel if I was well equipped in legal matters, possibly certain things would not have happened the way they did.
Great honor to my late brother Maurice.
Of the 25 victims who tragically lost their lives in the devastating Chesongoch landslide in Elgeyo Marakwet County were officially removed from the hospital mortuary today. The solemn exercise saw family members and local leaders gather at the facility to witness the transfer of the remains. The removal marks the beginning of the final welfare for those who perished in the disaster that struck Chesongoch, bringing the reality of the loss into sharp focus for the affected communities. Local authorities and aid organizations continue to provide support to the bereaved families and those displaced by the destructive landslide. Let's take a watch.
Fast.
All right, the united opposition has raised serious concerns over alleged widespread voter bribery, claiming that the practice is being used to influence the outcome of the upcoming November 2027 by-elections, where their candidates face rivals allied to the Kenya Kwanza administration. Wiper Patriotic Front Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka led the alarm, stating that the opposition has intelligence showing voters are being promised up to 5,000 shillings for their votes. The alleged condition involves voters taking photographs of their ballot papers to provide proof of voting for candidates associated with the Kenya Kwanza administration. Musyoka strongly condemned the claims, which he stated have marred the campaigns, and pointed to what he termed the misuse of state resources by government officials to campaign for their preferred candidate. Let's take a watch.
Rogue regime's desperation to rig the forthcoming by-elections, they have directed voters to take pictures. Just imagine, take pictures of their vote at the voting booth, showing that they have indeed selected their preferred candidate, and so as to collect not less than 5,000 shillings. On the IEBC to educate voters on how to use their phones within and outside the polling stations. Asking voters to take photos, recording, or asking voters who they support should not only be discouraged, it should actually be punished. This administration has used in this by-election is incredible. Kwa hivyo, they must face up to the consequences. We have called them out. I think our quick reaction team of lawyers will also be taking up these matters with a written request from the voter, and only proceed after full verification of residency and compliance with all legal requirements.
Kupiga kura kituo chochote, akute jina lake aliko. Nyinyi watu wa IEBC, presiding officers, returning officer na commissioners, nyinyi we are going to hold you responsible and accountable. Na tunataka mtoe ile register ya wapigaji kura ya 2022.
Thousands of Kenyans, including prominent politicians and government officials, gathered on Thursday at the Ndumberi Stadium in Kiambu County to pay their final respect to celebrated gospel singer Beatrice Wairimu Bugwa, famously known as Betty Bayo. The public funeral services followed the passing of the beloved artist 11 days ago at the Kenyatta National Hospital after a courageous battle with leukemia, blood cancer. The stadium was filled with mourners, including fans, colleagues from the music industry, and national leaders who came together to celebrate the life and ministry of the singer, whose songs touched countless lives across the country. Let's take a watch.
Her and we love her, and it's so sad to come back home to not see your mom there anymore because she's sick in the hospital. I used to come to school telling myself when I come back home I'll see mom. You know, she used to have a favorite like spot where she would sit down, so I would always imagine come back home and see her there, but I never saw her.
But hear this, my love, and hold it close in your internal rest. My commitment to our children is now the very engine of my life.
Wakati nilikuwa nimeshindwa kiasi kununua shamba ya kujenga kanisa kule, alikuja akanipea $500,000, 500,000.
You build your life with grace. You raise our children with humility.
Now, Safaricom PLC has received regulatory approval from the Capital Markets Authority, CMA, to establish a 40 billion shillings medium-term note program, a move that signals a significant return of confidence and renewed momentum in Kenya's corporate bond market. The approval, granted on November 7th, 2025, for the MTN framework, allows the telecommunication giant to raise long-term capital in multiple tranches, providing flexible and efficient compared to single issues bond. The funding is expected to support Safaricom's ongoing expansions and investment plans in Kenya and the wider region, notably in infrastructure upgrade in the growth of its Ethiopian operation. The program is designed to include various classes of notes such as green, social, and sustainable linked notes. Let's take a look.
It is the highest we've seen. The quantum is high at 40 billion, but when you look at their cash generation ability, even at a half-year level, vis-a-vis the amount that they're seeking, it's quite manageable for them. When debt is cheaper than equity, you can imagine the process of going back to shareholders for a rights issue tends to be tedious and takes time. Whereas for debts, it's easily acceptable. And sometimes when you're seeking large amounts, capital markets tends to be conducive because one, it gives investors who are purchasing this paper the ability to exit at any time within the capital market instruments. That is the secondary market. But as debt comes in and companies become significant within